You're listening to Women in Wellness, a program to help you create gorgeous growth for your blissful business in health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gabby, holistic health expert and founder of Women in Wellness, a one-of-a-kind course and community designed to empower and inform you about how to build a purposeful and profitable holistic business. I'm very excited for today's interview. I've invited an awesome guest, Tricia Sheehan. Tricia is a health coach and essential oil enthusiast and founder of Wellness Warriors. She empowers and inspires moms with young children to create their healthiest and happiest lives. Hi, Tricia. How are you?
Hey, Gabby. Great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is so cool. I love that you use oils and that you use them with families. Can you tell me, how did you get into this? How did you get started doing this kind of work?
Yeah, sure. So I have 3 kids. They're 3, 5, and 7. And so when my oldest was born, maybe when he was about 6 months old, he started having really terrible eczema, like mostly on his face and behind his knees. And the traditional doctors were kind of stumped by it, and they weren't really able to help him. And so like any mom who's got a kid who's suffering, even if it's nothing like, life-threatening or anything, you become, a mom on a mission. So I just started researching and talking to people, and it was very eye-opening to learn that eczema can be a sign of food sensitivities. It can be a sign of an allergy to something in the environment that the skin is coming in contact with. And so all these light bulbs just started going off, and I just started learning as much as I could about food, nutrition, and natural solutions, and just completely shift our whole family and everything, what we were eating, what we were buying, what we were using, and saw wonderful results. And then I just got really passionate about sharing it with other people because it was such a transformation for us in our house. And I just thought people really need to know about this.
Yeah, what you're describing is a very holistic approach to health, right? It's not just about the skin if there's a skin problem, but maybe it's about the food, or maybe it's about the environment, and really looking at the whole picture about what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then did you do any formal wellness education, or was it just self-education and learning? How did that happen?
For a while, it was just myself, but then I decided to make it a little more formal, and I attended the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and the Institute for Nutritional Leadership.
And what was that like? What did you learn?
Oh, it was great. So at IIN, we learn many different dietary theories and how to think through what would help an individual, because we're all different, right? Biochemically, we're all different, and there's no one way of eating that works for everybody. So we just learned to think through how would you figure out for each individual person what's going to work, what's going to be best for you. And so that was incredible, just incredible to learn all of that. And then with the Institute for Nutritional Leadership, that's led by Dr. Josh Axe. And so we got to hear a lot about his specific take on things, because he's a doctor of functional medicine and a chiropractor. So we learned about, just very data-based information about leaky gut and essential oils and chronic conditions and helping people. So it was great to hear directly from a doctor as well, especially having that base of information about dietary theories.
That's so cool. And I love the name of your business, Wellness Warriors. How did you come up with that?
It just, I was just thinking about, what it felt like to be on a wellness mission. And, I talked to a lot of moms who feel like sometimes it's a bit of a fight because the people around you might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. And you just want to help your kids. You just want to help your family members, your friends, whoever you're passionate about. You just want to help them, but it's not always easy. And sometimes you got to put on some armor, and fight for yourself and to kind of take charge of your health. So I wanted people to kind of feel empowered in that way, that, you do have armor you can put on and you have tools you can use, and it might take some effort, but that we can do it, especially if we, join together in kind of a warrior tribe, if you will.
Nice. And so would you say is that the mission of your work is to empower people and to educate them about these tools?
Yeah, absolutely. As I think, one way to do it would be just to tell them what to do, but I don't think that would work long term. So what I really like to do is empower people with information so that they can learn for themselves and think for themselves and become very inspired. And then they can pass it along. So they might have other friends and neighbors and family members who could benefit from that as well. And so sharing that information, and then they'll know not only what to do, but why they're doing it. And it just completely changes their ability to help themselves.
That's great. And what were you doing before you were doing the Wellness Warriors business?
I was doing marketing, so a bit of a shift. But it always had kind of a wellness slant to it without realizing it. I worked in environmental communications consulting for a while. I also worked for a company that sold smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms to help keep people safe at home. And I have an MBA from Penn State in marketing. So after having kids and kind of realizing how much importance it and how much of a difference it can make in your life to stay away from toxins and eat healthy, I did also work for a company called MightyNest.com, which is a wonderful, awesome company. It's just a small startup, but they have the best toxin-free products, like for around your house, for personal care. They have just amazing things. And I learned a lot about toxin-free living when I worked there as well. And was very inspired by them.
And what has this shift been like for you to be an entrepreneur now and to be building your own practice? Can you share a little bit of that journey with us?
Yeah, sure. So it's not always easy, right? Entrepreneurship is, you pave in your own way, but there's such awesome benefits to it. And that's why I'm really grateful that the wellness industry provides an opportunity, especially for me as a mom with little kids. I can only work part-time. And I might get a call that someone's sick at school, needs to be picked up, or there's a snow day, or one day the power went out at the kids' school and I had to, they couldn't go to school. So when life happens, having the flexibility to take care of life and work on your own schedule is pretty incredible. And so the wellness industry provides that. So that was a huge shift from working a traditional job that just suited my season of life so well. Mm-hmm. And I found that bonding together with other people trying to do the same thing has made all of the difference.
Yeah, so tell me about that, because you're in this club that I run, the Women in Wellness Club. What's that like, having that support system?
It changes everything, because when you're an entrepreneur, you can feel so alone, and especially if you work from home. And if you don't have anyone in your local community to kind of meet up with who's in the wellness industry, it just can be very isolating. And so to spend a little time every week with women who are passionate and smart and curious is just really inspiring. And I love it. It just kind of resets my week a bit. And I get to hear what other people are working on, and, the collaboration and sharing of ideas. And it just makes you feel great. And it makes you feel like you're on a team, even if you're running your own business. So it kind of rounds out the experience, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I love that team feeling too, that sense of community, so that you can, learn from each other and support each other. I'm wondering if you've made any mistakes on this journey that taught you some significant lessons. Is there anything that you could share for other people who are maybe just getting started or trying to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, sure. I would say one of them is, don't try to do everything yourself. So go ahead and ask for help, because there are smart, warm-hearted people who will try to help you. And I found the wellness industry not to be overly competitive, and that it's a bunch of people who just really want to help others. And there's, plenty of success and clients to go around for everyone. And so reach out for help or advice, and also outsource. So if there's something you need for your business, you don't need to try to do everything yourself. For example, for me, I would never be able to come up with a pretty website ever.
You're not a web designer?
I'm not a web designer. It was absolutely worth it to pay the money to hire someone else to do my website. And so things like that, I think people in the wellness industry get really overwhelmed, because they're trying to write, and they're trying to create graphics and a website, and they're trying to see clients. And you can't be good at everything. And so if there's something that you can outsource that will move your business forward, I would say do it. And that was something that I had to learn, because I had to do it all myself.
Did you look at what other people were doing and get that anxiety about everybody was ahead of you or people were better than you?
Oh, absolutely. And then you kind of network with them and make friends with them, and you hear everyone is struggling. Even if they look, online like they're perfect and everything's amazing, everyone's struggling with something. Everyone has something they're not so great at. So I would say that's the other thing, is not comparing yourself to others, because you just don't know what they went through to get there or what they're struggling with. And just everybody has things they're good at and not so good at. And so kind of looking at it as, certainly look to other people for best practices and, great ideas that you can also implement, but don't let it get you down and let you feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not enough, because it's really easy to go down that rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been doing this for 15 years and I can still get freaked out too. I mean, it's not something that ever goes away. It's always, because you're always reaching for the next level of success, or, you're trying to grow in some way, and there's always going to be challenges.
Right.
I'm wondering if we could talk a little bit more about the actual work that you do with parents, because you focus mostly on moms and families, right, with this work. So
That's right.
how do you help them? Is it that you give them, a formula, or is it that you advise them on certain illnesses? Like, what are you doing with the clients?
So right now I have 2 areas of focus, and I chose them because I felt like these were the best ways I could really help make a difference in people's lives and reach the most people, given that I work part-time, and just kind of create a win-win for me and for them. And so the first thing I do is small group sugar detoxes. We form a little community and we go through the sugar detox together, which makes it a lot more fun, and you get accountability and support. And like we were talking about before, when you have community, it makes all the difference. And so I do those about 4 or 5 times a year, and those are incredible, and people have had really wonderful results with those.
Is it hard to detox from sugar?
For some people it is. The first 3 days you can feel crummy, but I tell them that means you really needed to do it. And so everyone gets first with the first 3 days, you get through that, and then people are like, I feel amazing, I'm sleeping, I have energy, I don't have brain fog, I'm losing weight, and just it all starts to come together. And, a lot of times people say, oh, I don't need that because I don't eat sugar. But then once you really talk about it, it's hidden in everything.
Right.
I mean, 80% of the grocery store has added sugar. So just that awareness and that education can really transform people's lives, because they might be doing something they think is healthy that actually isn't so much.
That's exciting. And have you seen any big transformations with the people you work with?
In the sugar detox, obviously there's big ones like weight loss. I had one gal who lost 12 pounds, but I would say the bigger transformations are mental and emotional transformations, because people just don't realize how good they can feel. And they might say, well, this is just a part of aging to be tired, or this is just part of being a parent. And then they go through the detox and they feel so good. And like, imagine the life you can live when you feel awesome and you have energy. You got a good night's sleep. It just changes your day. And so most of it's been that kind of mental stuff, and people just being a whole lot happier, basically.
That's really exciting. And then are you running other groups besides the sugar group?
So my other big focus is essential oils. And they help people so much. And so I just decided to really focus on that, because I was sharing them kind of casually with some friends and family and a couple clients here and there, and people were just having such great experiences that I wanted to get the information to the hands of more people. And so one thing I'm doing to help my clients to learn is setting up a community where every month we focus on a different theme. So April's going to be all about spring cleaning naturally. And so we'll share recipes and just, encourage people, like, go ahead, this is what you would need to buy, and kind of hold their hand just a little bit to get them to try some natural cleaning solutions and to think through ways to solve your problems without reaching for chemicals. So this, it will have a community feel, and people will be able to go back and forth and ask questions and share experiences, and that community feel to it just can be very motivating and inspiring. So that's going to be the way that I am able to really educate people, groups of people. And also I do one-on-one coaching with the oils to make sure people feel really comfortable with how they can use them and use them safely.
And have you been using the oils for a long time?
It's been about 2.5 years for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the oils.
And do you use them all throughout your day and all your different activities?
I do. I started out more slowly, just using them here and there when a problem popped up and I was looking for a solution. But the more we use them, the more we benefit from them. So at this point, I use them quite frequently, and my kids are used to them. They say, I have an owie. Is there an oil for that? And we had a play date over here yesterday, and my 3-year-old was like smelling one of the oils and saying, this one's my favorite, this one's not my favorite. It was so funny. So the kids are getting kind of used to it now, and I love that is going to set up a legacy where if you have a problem, you can run into the kitchen or you can look to a plant to solve your problem. You don't have to, run down the street to the store necessarily. And I like that they're starting to think that way already. So yeah, we use them a lot. They've been really awesome.
That's so cool. They're going to recruit all their friends to use oils and start oil businesses.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the industry, the wellness industry in general, that you really admire or you sort of look up to as a mentor?
Yeah. I'd say two people pop to mind. I do work with Dr. Josh Axe, who's a doctor of functional medicine, and he's at draxe.com. And he and his team have been a wonderful example to me of how to do business with a lot of grace and class, and just not letting naysayers bring you down. They're just like a really wonderful group of people and so genuine. And, they do a lot of videos and stuff. And so when you see Dr. Axe, like that is truly who he is. Like he is that nice of a guy. And so it's been really wonderful working with him and his team. And then I would say the other person is my upline person with doTERRA. Her name is Leslie Exley, and she's been incredible. I would say the number one thing I've learned from her is the value of being a servant leader. And by that, I mean, just focus on how can you add value? How can you help people? How can you love on people? And that's what it's about. And that when you put that energy into people, success will come. But prioritizing servant leadership is one way to do it. And that's really resonated with me. And I've learned that from her. So she's been a wonderful mentor.
That's a really great approach to just being in service. I find that most of the people that come into the health and wellness industry, they do want to serve, they do want to help. That's sort of the underlying mission of their business. And then we have to figure out all the ways to put systems in place and to spread the word and get exposure for what we're doing and try to create, the structure around that service and that mission-driven business, right? Does that resonate with you?
Oh, yeah. And it can get hard because, you have to do the marketing and you have to set up, payment processing. There's all this stuff that goes on, and really you just want to help people.
Yeah.
So it can be hard and frustrating, but I think at the end of the day, sometimes just you need to refocus and just be like, I'm here to help people. I'm here to add value. And if it's not about your own success and recognition and that kind of stuff, if you're able to let that go and just serve people, then it will all come together. I
totally agree. So if people want to join Wellness Warriors or the Detox or Oil Group, how do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
My website is wellnesswarriorsforhealth.com. And I have a Facebook page called Wellness Warriors Tribe. And so those are the best ways probably.
Okay, great. And they can join in and they can either participate in the group program or they can do one-on-one with you so that they can learn about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing all this great information. I love the community that you're serving. I love that the kids are getting involved and that they're excited about it too. It just sounds like an awesome business that you have.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. You can join the Women in Wellness Club at women-in-wellness.com.